I have already uploaded a video on the procedure of how to review literature with ChatGPT. You can see the video above. But synthesis of literature is a different thing, and many students confuse these two terms. Let's see difference between review of literature and synthesis of literature. What is a review of literature? A review of literature is a detailed summary and discussion of published research related to a specific topic. It shows what researchers have already studied, what is known, and what evidence is available. The purpose is not to give your opinion, but to present current knowledge in an organized way. It helps readers understand the background of your topic and shows that your work is based on credible research. What to include in a review of literature? 1. Background and context. Start by explaining the general background of your topic. This helps readers understand why the topic is important. You can include historical development, or an overview of the issue being studied. 2. Key concepts. Clearly explain important concepts and variables used in the studies. If different authors define concepts differently, you should mention that. 3. Types of sources used. A strong review includes credible and scholarly sources, such as peer-reviewed journal articles, systematic reviews and meta-analyses. Avoid blogs or non-academic websites unless your instructor allows them. 4. Study designs and methods. You should describe how the studies were conducted. This can include research design, qualitative, quantitative, mixed methods, sample size and population, data collection tools, surveys, interviews, clinical measures, study setting, hospital, community, school, etc. This helps readers understand the strength and quality of the evidence. 5. Key findings of each study. This is the core part of a literature review. You explain what each study found, main results and outcomes, significant statistics or conclusions. Usually, studies are discussed one by one. 6. Theories and frameworks. If studies are based on specific theories or conceptual frameworks, include them. Explain how these theories guide the research and support the topic. 7. Chronological or thematic organization. You can organize the review in different ways. Chronological. Studies discussed by year to show progress over time. Start with the oldest studies and move step by step to the most recent ones. Mention the year of each study and briefly explain what changed or improved over time. Thematic. Studies grouped under themes or subtopics. Methodological. Studies grouped by research design. For example, discuss qualitative studies first, then quantitative studies, and then mixed method studies. Under each group, summarize findings from that type of research. 8. Strengths and limitations of studies. A good review briefly mentions strengths, such as large sample size or strong methodology, limitations, such as small samples or bias. This shows critical thinking. 9. Consistencies and differences. You may point out where studies have similar results or different outcomes. 10. Gaps in existing research. At the end of the review, identify what is missing in the literature. This could be lack of recent studies, limited population groups, inconsistent findings. This helps justify why further research is needed. Writing style for a review of literature. Use objective and neutral language. Focus on facts, not personal opinions. Cite all sources correctly. Use clear headings and subheadings. This is a review of literature on cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, for insomnia. In the first paragraph, I discussed the theoretical frameworks behind CBTI, including cognitive, behavioral, physiological, and self-efficacy theories, showing why and how CBT works. You need to cite different authors to show different perspectives on topic. The second paragraph used different authors' citations to give background and historical context. It explains what insomnia is, how it has been treated over time, and how CBTI became the first-line treatment. The third paragraph again uses different studies' perspectives to explain key concepts and components of CBTI, such as sleep efficiency, sleep restriction, stimulus control, cognitive therapy, and relaxation strategies, giving clear definitions and measures. The fourth paragraph summarizes different research studies, their designs, populations, tools, and settings to show the evidence collected so far. The fifth paragraph explains the findings of these studies, highlighting improvements in sleep outcomes and effectiveness across various populations. The sixth paragraph describes the strengths and limitations of the studies, such as research design, sample size, and adherence issues. The seventh paragraph focuses on consistencies and differences across studies, showing patterns, variations, and factors influencing outcomes. Finally, the eighth paragraph identifies gaps in the literature, pointing out areas that need further research, such as younger populations, long-term effects, and diverse groups. The paragraphs are arranged in a logical order, moving from theory and background, to concepts, to evidence, and finally to critical evaluation and research gaps, making the review easy to follow and comprehensive. Now we will talk about synthesis of literature. This part is very important because synthesis is what most students struggle with. What is synthesis of literature? Synthesis of literature is the process of combining findings from multiple studies to create a deeper understanding of a topic. You do not summarize one study at a time. Instead, you compare, connect, and analyze studies together. The focus is on relationships between studies, not on individual articles. In simple words, synthesis explains what the research shows as a whole, what to include in a synthesis of literature, similarities across studies, explain where studies agree with each other. This can include similar results, same conclusions, consistent outcomes, repeated patterns, use words like similarly, consistently, most studies found, differences across studies. Next, explain how studies differ. Differences may be in results or outcomes, sample size or population, settings, hospital versus community, measurement tools. This shows critical thinking and deeper understanding, contradictions and controversies. Some studies may show opposite or conflicting findings. Clearly explain which studies support one view, which studies report different or opposing results, possible reasons for disagreement, such as methods or sample differences, comparison of study methods. Briefly compare how studies were done, such as strong versus weak designs, randomized versus non-randomized studies, objective versus self-reported data. This helps explain why results may vary. Strength of evidence, discuss which findings appear stronger or more reliable based on study design, sample size, consistency of results. Do this carefully without personal opinion. Themes and patterns, identify major themes that appear across many studies. These themes become the main structure of your synthesis. Each paragraph usually focuses on one theme, supported by multiple sources. Gaps in the literature, clearly state what is missing or under-researched, such as limited populations, lack of recent studies, inconsistent findings, missing long-term outcomes, implications. Explain what the combined evidence suggests for practice, policy, or future research. This is especially important evidence-based practice. First, you need to collect sources for synthesis of literature. I asked for Google Scholar articles on my topic, only experimental articles. No systematic reviews or meta-analyses, and published after 2015, ChatGPT followed my instructions and gave me 5 Google Scholar articles on my topic. The next step is to click on each link and open the articles. You must cross-check them by reading the abstracts to confirm that the articles are actually relevant to your topic. Now, I have opened these 5 articles. I noticed that the last 2 articles were not open access. You can copy the article title and search it on Google. It is possible that you will find the same article as open access on another website. I was able to find this article as open access on a different site. I will repeat the same process for the other article. If, in any case, you do not find an open access version of an article, you can skip that article and ask ChatGPT again to provide only open access articles. Now, to write the synthesis of literature, use a prompt where you insert your topic and give clear instructions, such as asking for citations, short sentences, and then provide the structure of synthesis of literature. After that, you need to enter only the article details, including author names, publication dates, method sections, and discussion sections. For each article, repeat the same process. Mention the article number, such as Article 1 or Article 2, then write the author's names, publication year, and copy the method section and discussion section of that article. Because ChatGPT cannot accept very long text, I will paste only 3 articles here. If you want to analyze more articles together, you can use DeepSeek, or another option is to analyze 3 to 4 articles at a time in ChatGPT, step by step. I have pasted 3 articles. I also clearly mentioned not to use lines to separate headings and to use topic-related headings. After clicking send, ChatGPT started writing the synthesis of literature. You can see that it is using citations and headings. In the first paragraph, it discussed similarities across studies and used words like similarly. In the second paragraph, it discussed differences between studies, such as one study focusing on adults with comorbid insomnia and major depressive disorder, while another study focused on young adults with insomnia who engaged in binge drinking. It used words like in contrast and explained how these differences impact the findings. In the third paragraph, it discussed controversies across studies. It explained how the studies diverge from each other. In next paragraph, it discussed how methodological differences influence the findings. Then, it discussed the strength of evidence by explaining effect sizes, and in the last paragraph, it discussed gaps in the literature. This type of structure can be a starting point to help you understand how to write a synthesis of literature. You can repeat this process again and again by using different articles. Now you clearly know the difference between review of literature and synthesis of literature. If this video helped you, use these steps in your next assignment or research paper. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more simple research and academic writing tips.